We're on a drive here on WPGU 107.1. Thank you for joining us here today. Huge show today. We are all excited here on this Monday evening-ish. St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you Irish folk or folks celebrating Irish. Officially, St. Patrick's Day. You know, sometimes people celebrate that a couple weeks early. I don't know what the deal with that is. But follow us on the Twitter. That's at Illini Drive for show updates. All throughout, or updates on Illinois sports all throughout the week. We'll be tweeting throughout the show, ask you guys questions. Want to hear what you have to think at Illini Drive. We may read some of your tweets on the show later. It's a big show. We got to talk about the Illini golf team is joining us. They'll be here around 6:20. We're talking about the bracket. Everybody's filling out their March Madness bracket. I'm sure you weren't paying attention in work this morning because you were filling out your bracket. Maybe you did it last night. Maybe listen to ESPN guys who all pick the same Final Four. We hope we don't pick the same Final Four. These guys are always wrong. So... of course, you can catch us. You may be catching us on UPTV. That's every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. I want to thank the good people at Urbana Public Television for putting our mugs on television and allowing you to see us. I'm Jamal Collier. I'm joined by Elliot Sill, Torrance Sorrell, Joey Gelman here. Guys, this is a lot to get to. We're going to start off with the Illinois basketball team, they were in Indianapolis for the Big Ten tournament. And knew they had to win a couple games if they wanted to make the big dance, the NCAA tournament. And they start off and they beat some scrub team that didn't even make the NIT. I think that was Indiana. How about this? No teams from the state of Indiana or Illinois are in the NCAA tournament.
Ooh, wow.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
That is.
You think about, Illinois and North
Chicago.
But yeah, Chicago, DePaul, and, some of the teams they've had are Indiana, Purdue, Notre Dame. That's insane.
Yeah.
Insane. But Illinois comes up, they beat up on Indiana, they beat Indiana, and played Michigan, who had clobbered them, who shellacked them, destroyed them, completely embarrassed them a couple of weeks ago at the State Farm Center, the biggest loss in the history of the home games for Illinois.
I heard it was such a bad loss, they decided to renovate it to try and get rid of some of the bad juju.
Exactly. And Illinois played Michigan State very well. It was a 1-point game, and Tracy Abrams had the shot that he wanted. The shot couldn't get any closer. And Eddie, what are your thoughts just from that game and that entire weekend? Torrance, you were in Indianapolis, weren't you?
Yeah. What did you think of the scenery there? I mean, it looks a little bit like St. Louis. We was actually there.
Yeah, which is
kind of reminds
not
me
a compliment. Just the whole town. It's actually my first time being in Indianapolis for an extended time. But a cool town, as a matter of fact. And I like the tournament there. The Big Ten tournament there as well. It's a bigger deal in Indy. In Chicago, it's just another thing in Chicago. There's so much things going on there.
Right.
It felt like it was a big deal that it was in Indy. And Conseco Fieldhouse, or it's Baker's Life Fieldhouse now, is really nice.
They actually had, I heard Paul George and Roy Hibbert was there.
They were there.
Oh, man.
They were signing, I think that was Paul George was signing autographs between the halftime and maybe the Illinois game or something. But, really a cool thing. I'm glad we got to go to that.
Yeah, it was just real good experience. I've never been to Indiana as well, but I mean, that's one of the fun parts about, covering sports, because it's always good to just, move out of your scenery except for just seeing the regular home games, going out to the road and kind of seeing almost a different town. So,
I thought the fun part was sitting here with me.
Cool. No comment.
What do you think about the games on the floor, though, for Illinois and what they showed this weekend?
Man, I definitely think they came out there and battled. One player that I was real impressed with was Tracy Abrams. I know I talked a little bit about him during I think it was a couple shows back on how I just really want him to really step up and really be that point guard. I know he's pretty much like an average point guard, but he was pretty much the main reason that they got to the second round, even though, he was somewhat the reason why they lost. But, when he carries the team like that and really generates the offense, and I think DJ Richardson also tweeted when Abrams plays at a high level, he could bring this team to big places, and he proved it definitely within those 2 games.
That's an interesting thing to think about. Like, has this season, we've talked about so much of the conversation here has been about, Rayvonte Rice and Kendrick Nunn. Has this season for Illinois basketball secretly been about Tracy Abrams all along?
I think so, because he's been on that team for what's his 3rd year already, and he's been through the ups and downs on the team, and he can really, watching the game, I really feel like he could really bring the team to a different level. He's not the best offensive player, but when he distributes the ball and get other players more involved, I think that's something that's going to be good for years to come.
And, I mean, when you're looking at the season going down the stretch here, a main focal point was the play of Kendrick Nunn and Malcolm Hill. And the whole focus down the stretch here was whether, no matter if they made a tournament or a postseason play, was the play of the freshmen.
Right.
And so when you look at this past Big Ten tournament where the Michigan game is surrounded by the play of Tracy Abrams or Nana Egwu, it was surprising to me because the theme of the season has been the young guys, the future of this program, kind of weeding out Tracy Abrams, Nana Egwu, and the whole Bruce Weber era. And for those guys to step up like that against a team that embarrassed them on their home floor, it says a lot about what those guys still mean to this team, even though they're the older veteran members.
I wouldn't say it's about weeding out the Weber era. I mean, you had Joseph Bertrand certainly was sort of weeded out in the process of the season, but I think by and large, those guys are what this team's identity is. You know, Nana Egwu's defense and Tracy Abrams' leadership, and it's interesting because John Gross is such a point guard oriented coach, which who isn't, but it's so important that he have a point guard that plays well, and that's why when Jalen Tate was succeeding in the beginning of the season, it was such a benefit for Illinois. And then to have him come up and step up in your two biggest games of the year in the Big Ten tournament was huge for them. And I think it's the reason why Illinois was competitive against Michigan and why they were able to pull away from Indiana at the end.
I just didn't see Abrams as much of a leader as he should have been down the stretch, and so that's why I was kind of.
Do you mean of the season or of the game?
Season.
Of the season.
And then that's why it was surprising to me that he was really able to embody what player he's supposed to be and execute against Michigan.
Yeah, and also credit. I know Elliot touched on this a little bit. Also credit Illinois' defense as well. I think Stauskas, he only hit 2-3 threes in the second half. First half he came out and played pretty good, but Illinois definitely read the scouting report definitely better going into this game. Michigan didn't have the 60-70% shooting that they did the last game.
And I felt correct because we talked about that last week. Does Illinois have a chance to beat Michigan? And I said, I don't think they're going to necessarily know what to do if they're not shooting the lights out. And that wasn't true for the whole team, but for Stauskas, certainly he was off his game, and you saw him try and take big shots down the stretch, and it was just horrible misses. I think he was a little bit flustered just because, that experience, it's like he was unconscious for that game against Illinois. He didn't really have that arsenal in his back pocket.
It kind of mirrored your Illinois team of last year where they're very three-point heavy with guys like Griffey and Richardson and Paul, and when there was a game when they couldn't shoot for, if they were open by, 400 feet there was no shot at them trying to win the game when you have a team like Illinois that executed the zone defense as well as they did throughout a majority of that game.
Yeah, that's a very generous comparison.
Well,
Illinois of last year to Michigan.
Just
but
nature of their
from a
style
shooting
of
perspective,
offense.
Of course, Illinois obviously did come up short. They got into the NIT, number 2 seed. They cannot host any games. Of course, the renovations going on to State Farm. That means they are traveling to Boston University. That game is on Wednesday, ESPN2, I believe it's 6 p.m. Are you guys excited at all, even a hint of excitement for the NIT? Or for at least watching Illinois in the NIT the whole tournament?
Yes, I am excited. I think this is their level. They're kind of like a junior varsity big wig team. Like they have a lot of good parts, but none of them are completely molded yet. I don't think any of their players have reached their full potential. You've got the freshmen Nunn and Hill, obviously, but even Rayvonte Rice and Egwu and Abrams, I think all three of those guys are still developing, even though they're juniors. So I think it's a big thing for them, and this is what I've been saying all along. Illinois is going to play to where they belong, and if they were good enough for the NCAA tournament, Tracy finds a way to get a few more inches on that floater. They beat Michigan. They do what they have to do, but they don't have it. So I think this is right for them. I think it's a good competition. Like we said, Indiana is a good challenge for Illinois. I think the NIT is a good challenge for Illinois, and I'm glad that they have the chance to be in a tournament they have a chance to win.
I agree with what you were saying in terms of kind of forming the team moving forward, and down the stretch, you really saw a close to complete team, I guess, just in terms of everyone feeding off of each other. And so moving into the NIT, you're able to see a little more development from the younger guys. In terms of excitement, though, at least in my mind, it's still kind of a consolation tournament. I know, like
It is.
We talked about it in the meeting the other day. Would you rather win the NIT or get bounced in the second round of the NCAA tournament? And sorry, I didn't take on that column for you, but I still think it would be better to be bounced in the second round of the NCAA, just because it's an actual more respected playoff system versus the NIT. So I don't know about excitement level isn't very high, but I guess in terms of just getting the team a little more camaraderie together, it at least gives them a few more games.
I'd take the 4 wins in an NIT championship over a second round loss to a.
Would you?
Yeah,
I would not.
I would easily take that for this team.
No, I would take a team that, I mean, depending for this team, you're saying they'd have to done something to get into the NCAA tournament. Normally, I'd just say I want a team that got to the NCAA, and not, I mean, that's obviously when the top seed and got upset, but kind of a team like Illinois that gets to the, like last year, the second round loss was a lot better.
I think that was the right fit for that team. You had seniors on that team that wanted to really give it a shot.
But I can never see a situation where not playing a national tournament is better.
Well, if all your main components from your team are going to be back for the next year, I think it's better to get something that'll be more valuable in terms of experience, as opposed to like
let them play in the tournament with the big dogs. To me, that's a little more valuable.
They play in the Big Ten, so I don't think they need that experience to get that big dog experience. They get it every day in conference play.
Sure, but then what are you getting playing Boston U and a bunch of other middle of the pack Big Ten teams?
Well, you're getting a chance to show that you are the best, and when you have your back against the wall, that you can really play. It's learning how to win, Jamal. You're learning how to win, and that's something that this team didn't know how to do for 10 out of 11 games in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I will agree to disagree on that one, but I will take a spot in the tournament every time. I don't know how you feel about that.
I'll take. Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll take a spot in the tournament when it's a full product. I don't think this is a full product, so I think you can settle for a more developmental tournament like the NIT.
Yeah, I'm a little bit both with the issue, but I would probably like to see the team maybe go to an NCAA tournament, even though they probably get knocked off. But it's just the fact that they worked hard, they got into the tournament, and I mean I feel like if they was to actually win that Michigan game, they probably would have had a shot, because Nebraska actually lost to Ohio State as well, and Illinois probably could have been a high bubble team. Perhaps maybe could have.
They'd probably at least had to beat Ohio State.
At least, yeah.
I mean, if they would have won, let's say won the Big Ten tournament and then got in the tournament, let's say they get knocked out as a 12th seed, even the first round, you don't think that would be a better ending than winning the NIT this year?
I think
it'd be thrilled to say, man, look where they came from and they got into this tournament.
That's if they won the Big Ten tournament, though. That would
even if they got to the championship game and got just beat by Michigan State,
and then they got in.
And they got in.
I think that's a different season we're talking about. We're talking about a season in which Abrams hits a game winner to upset the number 1 team in the tournament. That's a new Indiana win for this program. Okay. That completely changes the face of what we're talking about in terms of their season.
Okay. Well, I can't think
of
a situation though where I'm happy my team. Let's say I just can't think of a situation where I'm happy to have just won the NIT and not be in the tournament.
I'm saying this team they came up short. They didn't do what they needed to do to get in the tournament. They don't deserve the tournament, but they can use this and learn from it. If they had somehow limped in, let's say they had beaten Northwestern and Purdue earlier in the season, 9-9 in conference. They were on Iowa's level, you know.
So Iowa, is it better for Iowa to have won the second?
If Iowa gets bounced in the tournament and Illinois wins the NIT, I'd rather have Illinois' season than Iowa's. Because Iowa fell down the stretch, bumbled to a loss against Northwestern, who is terrible.
Bad.
And you're talking about, I think Illinois is on the upswing, and I think that they can really use this to finish their season strong and say, look, next year we're doing this in NCAAs.
I still take the NCAA loss. And I see where you're coming from, and now I kind of get, because I said, first I'm thinking you're crazy. But I'll take the NCAA, the national tournament appearance, and you know what, we clunked down the stretch.
Because you're still priding yourself on a consolation tournament in a way.
So better than priding yourself on a loss.
I guess.
So if Illinois was to win NIT, I'll make sure I give you a NIT champ shirt in the back. Definitely give it to you.
And a hat too, please.
And a hat.
I'll take that.
On the mug too.
And they're gonna hang it up at State
Raise
Farm.
the banner in State Farm.
Yeah.
NIT
right with the renovations too.
Illinois has really a good shot at winning this whole thing. They're obviously a number 2 seed. Anybody here willing? I haven't looked at the NIT. Anybody filling out an NIT bracket? I think I jokingly tweeted that out from the Illini Drive account. So there is a bracket that's been tweeted out from the Illini Drive account. Maybe we'll get that retweeted again here. If you want to fill out an NIT bracket, if you have that much time on your hands and nothing else free to do, I mean, go ahead, fill out your NIT brackets and be ready. Will you be watching on Wednesday, everybody, for Illinois versus Boston?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be watching the rear of Illini Drive because
I was just
you can watch
say.
that'll be on at 6, and then you can watch us and hear us argue about whether or not we thought that was more important.
after Illinois loses in the first round of the tournament, we can talk about how much more valuable it is.
Yeah, exactly. They got here.
Do you win money for filling out the NIT bracket?
I don't think anyone's
Is somebody
offering.
betting money for
You get
that?
paid per hour?
Yeah, I don't
Minimum
know.
wage?
I'm sure there's a fraternity on campus that has a pool going.
Yeah.
There has to be.
I was going to suggest that we should do it, but I wouldn't even go that far. Mainly because I'm going to be kicking you guys' butt in the NCAA bracket challenge, and that's to come a little later on. We're going to take a commercial break here first, though. We got the Illini golf team joining us. David Kim and Alex Burge are going to be joining us. They're having a pretty good year, as they always have. And they're in studio next. It's the Illini Drive on WPGU 1071.
Hey guys, this is Erin Andrews, and you're listening to WPGU 107.1.
Illini Drive here on WPGU 1071. We have the Illini golf team joining us, David Kim and Alex Burge. And guys, thank you for joining us here today. It's your first time, I believe, on this show.
Yep.
Am I right? Well, good luck.
Welcome to the jungle.
Yeah, regular
Thank
jungle here. For most of you guys, how's the game going? How's the golf game going so far in the year? You guys are about a little over halfway through this year, am I right?
Yes. We've been practicing indoors, and we're finally getting out because the weather's getting better.
Yeah.
But we're pretty much getting back into the swing of things. I mean, we all feel good. This is our fourth tournament, I think.
Yeah, second
Second.
third stroke play.
Yes, third stroke play already. So we're almost halfway done the spring season. I mean, we just need to build momentum and hopefully win championships in the spring. So.
Is it hard for you guys with the snow and all the crap weather we get here, trying to practice, or are you guys just kind of used to it at this point? How are they?
We're kind of used to it. Obviously, we have the indoor facility that helps out a lot, but hitting balls and just chipping and putting isn't the same as playing. So we're all really excited. We're actually going to have our first outdoor practice tomorrow because the weather's starting to break, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. What are some of the trips you guys have been on, maybe that you've enjoyed most? You have a favorite trip that you've been, maybe even this year, or maybe just in your career so far?
This year we actually went to Yale.
Okay.
In October, and that was pretty cool. I mean, I've never been to New York, but that was pretty sweet. And then we played a really good tournament in the schedule. We go to Isleworth, and a lot of professionals are there. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we get to learn a lot, and I mean, we're practically playing and practicing on the same courses that PGA Tour members are playing on. So that's pretty special.
Yeah. How about for you?
My favorite one is the one in down in Louisiana. We just got back from it last week, and just the food, the people down there. It's a fun trip for sure.
What kind of food you? I went to New Orleans. I had alligator for the first time a couple of years ago. Did you try any alligator?
Didn't try that.
Oh,
they have jambalaya at the turn.
Yeah.
So
Not bad.
the 10th hole is usually pretty tough, but
Jambalaya easy out though. I'm fascinated by golf because I'm so terrible at it. As most people are in the world, I think it's the few people who are good at it are professionals. How did you guys get into golf? When you were younger, and how did you develop obviously getting to be good enough to play here?
I grew up playing tennis, and my dad got hurt, so he quit playing tennis, started playing golf, and then I just kind of tagged along with him whenever he would go
What year?
hit balls.
How old are you?
I was about probably 8 years old.
Okay.
So
I personally started to get the summer going into 7th grade, and I played every single sport growing up, and golf was new to me. I mean, my dad played it, and his dad played it as well, so they got got me into it, and ever since then I've loved it. Just the challenge, and just because you can never be perfect at it.
Is that late getting into it around 7th grade or so? Because I feel like most people say, I was golfing when I was 2 years old.
Yeah. A lot of people start three or 4 years old, probably.
Yeah. So, I mean, was there a learning curve for you? Did you take a while? Did you just kind of get in? Were you just good from the beginning?
I mean, there's definitely a learning curve with anything, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you start young enough to where you have time to practice and stuff before high school, and and just kind of get into it, then there's not really any problem with it.
Okay.
I feel personally that if you have like a chip on your shoulder, like I had,
Yeah.
I mean, if you put your mind to it and you practice as hard as you can, then I mean, you can be as good as anybody else.
Did you guys have any like role models as far as growing up, probably that kind of inspire you while you guys maybe want to play golf, or how did that go about?
Personally, Kobe. I mean, I like basketball and being from LA.
He's got a mean golf swing too, Kobe.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I just enjoy watching all the pros, and I mean, they're just, if you really think about it, they're just regular people. I mean, they just can chip and putt their ball pretty well.
Yeah, we saw that with Tiger. Then he was a little more regular than we thought. How about you? Did you have any?
I mean, I'm going to say Tiger. He made golf exciting. Just growing up, I mean, that's when he was kind of in his prime and just dominating. So he made it real exciting to watch and wanted me to do it.
What drew you guys, I guess, to come to Illinois, especially with such a cold weather city and a lot of tournaments on the road? So I guess what was really the draw, and what makes this program so successful in such a harsh climate?
And David, you're from California.
That's all I'm
So
saying.
you had it
Made that
spoiled out
mistake
there.
early.
I mean, I guess it worked out pretty well because I started golf late.
Yeah.
And UCLA and USC and all the major California schools, they recruited pretty early. I mean, during like freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
And I wasn't at my peak yet. I mean, I'm still not even close to my peak, but I was still like starting the game and playing tournaments. But I mean, I contacted Coach Small, and obviously he's a Hall of Famer. He has all the connections in the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I just contacted Coach Small, and ever since then I've loved it. I've visited, and I mean, they have everything you need to get better here. So
I'm not from California. I'm
Yeah.
from Illinois, so the climate is nothing to me. But I don't know. I just grew up an Illinois fan, and coming here, the academics are obviously great. Like he said, Coach Small is the best there is. We have the indoor facility, and personally, and I know as well as David and all my teammates, we kind of enjoy the little break winter gives us. Golf is mentally, it's pretty demanding, and take some time off is good.
Yeah. I mean, obviously for a school to be this good at golf in the Midwest, they don't have the advantages that Florida and California. Is that just Coach Small? Obviously, you guys have things to do with it, but what has he done to kind of build a program to be this dominant? I mean, or this good for so long?
Just the way I mean, he's so well known in the golf world that recruiting for him, I mean, recruiting is everything, obviously, in sports. So he's able to attract the players. We have the indoor facility. We have all that. We have all the resources you need, except the weather. But we turn that into an advantage. We always say the southern schools are sick of each other by NCAA championship time, and we're kind of just getting into the swing of things. So, I mean, we look at it as an advantage.
So you're not sick of David yet?
No, not yet.
personally, I feel like just the mentality. I mean, golf is like 100. Like it's like 80% mental, in my opinion. And learning from Coach Small, just that course management and learning how to work away around the course has been huge for me. It's not all about the swing or like hitting as far as you can. It's really about working your way around the course. So.
Yeah. This is Illini Drive here on WPGU 107.1. We're joined by the Illini golf team, Alex Burge and David Kim. And Alex, I have to go to you as far as getting into golf. You dunked when you were in 8th grade, I heard.
Oh, man.
This is a true story.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Can you still dunk now, or is your legs gone? What happened? How'd you start dunking?
I don't know. I haven't played in a little while.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up. Like I said, I grew up playing tennis and then basketball. I mean, obviously, I played all through high school, and yeah, I mean.
Was it in a game or practice? What was the situation?
No, it was just practice. We were just messing
Pretty
around
good.
after practice.
Not gonna lie.
He's pretty good?
He's pretty good.
Okay. Is he the best basketball player in your team? Would you go that, or?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Charlie and John Howder are pretty good too, though. Charlie's tall. He's good down low.
Kim, are we going to see a dunk out of you anytime soon, or is that still coming? That's still developing.
I got the J, but
Okay.
Kim's got the floater from NBA range.
whatever works.
That's a dynamic duo then. You got the floater, you got the dunk. Okay.
Whatever works.
The talent on this year's team on the golf course, not on the basketball court, but the talent on this team has to stack up to just maybe your last couple of years or even last year for you. Where you guys feel you are?
I mean, it's there. Obviously, we've got 6 guys that all of us can play. Last year we had Thomas Peters, as you guys know, who'd left and turned pro early, but that's what we recruit for, and that's why we build a program, is to reload, and we all feel like there's no reason we can't do what we did last year and do even better than last year. So, I mean, we're all working every day to let our talent go when we get to the course and just play the game.
I mean, I agree with Alex 100%. But there also has to be a new star, so I guess we're all trying to fill that void fill that role in.
Yeah. And how some of the guys come in and try to fill the role that Peters had and some of those things?
I mean, we definitely want to follow in his footsteps, or even better, like Luke Guthrie and Scott Langley, who would just finish second in PGA Tour event recently. So, I mean, there's always room to get better, and I mean, there's people who are working as hard as you or not as harder. So, I mean, it's definitely, we definitely have to work hard.
How often do you guys keep up with, some of those guys, whether it be Peters or Langley or any of them? You guys get to talk to them regularly, or how is that?
Yeah, I talk to Thomas and Luke pretty much every day. Okay. We Snapchat a lot. Okay. I talk to Langley
I've sent
occasionally.
about 6 Snapchats in this 12 minutes. So
No, I mean we all keep in touch. It's a big golf family, and it's awesome to see them doing well. We were all going crazy in the apartment yesterday watching Langley.
Yeah.
Wish he could have pulled that off, but that was a great tournament, and yeah, we keep in touch.
Yeah.
What type of advice do they give you guys? I'm quite sure you guys probably talk outside of the field, but I'm quite sure they give you guys good advice too about playing pro or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, just being teammates with them and seeing what they did in college, and you realize that you just got to work hard and have faith in what you're doing. And I mean, Luke's a great example of working hard and just being really tough out on the course, and you can get it done on any level.
I guess also, I know you talked a little bit about the chemistry earlier, Jamal. How is these group of guys, outside of just, playing together, how you guys, camaraderie is?
Actually, 5 of us live together. So
wow.
Yeah, we see each other every day, wake up next to each other, kind of.
Is that a good thing?
Not really.
I mean, the chemistry is obviously there, and I mean, just helps us later, I guess, during this national championship run. When we all know we have each other's backs, so I mean that's pretty cool.
Now, NCAA rules don't allow you guys to fill out a bracket, which is too bad. But we're going to ask you guys for a national champion anyway, or see maybe you guys got a favorite for this college basketball season.
I'm gonna stay in the Big Ten and pick Michigan State. When they're pretty healthy, they're getting healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the favorite. According to all the analysts. So.
Does that scare you that when everybody else is picking the same team? Because I'm kind of battling with that right now too.
They won pretty convincingly over Michigan the other day, so I'm gonna have to go with them.
I like Florida. They're old, they're experienced. I feel like they all got a chip on their shoulder, and yeah, I mean, I like the Gators.
Yeah, I'm still debating here. And I'm leaning toward those kind of guys too. So
they must be in your Final Four then.
they both.
They
are.
your man too.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I had to kick these guys, but we do a bracket challenge every year, and I've won the last 2 years in a row. So
three-peat.
Make sure it's a three-peat.
Because this is my first time on the show, so that was because I wasn't here.
That's it. That's it. Well, guys, we thank you for joining us here today, and the best of luck the rest of your year. And like I said, good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much for having
Thank you.
us.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we get back, we're going to give you our bracket challenges, our Final Four Cinderellas, and these guys will probably find a way to get wrong. This is Illini Drive here on WPGU 107.1.
This is Clark Kellogg of CBS Sports, and you are listening to the Illini Drive. Enjoy.
I thank the guys from Illini Golf joining us here on the Illini Drive, WPGU 107.1, and best of luck again to them the rest of the year. We're going to get into our bracket challenge now, and this is an annual thing here on the Illini Drive. For those of you maybe new to the show, around this time, like I said, we all fill out our brackets every year. It's for bragging rights, and we also have a bracket championship trophy that I still have because I am the 2-time reigning defending champion of the bracket challenge.
A new home, though.
I looked for it today in my apartment. And I couldn't find it, so I'm not sure if it's in. Yeah, you guys may have swiped it. I'm sure it's in a box or something. I have to dig that out and find it. But that will be you only get bragging rights for the next year, next calendar year, 365 days of talking smack. which I don't do much of. But you also get that cool little trophy to put on your nightstand and show off to all the ladies, all your friends, all the cool cats that you won the bracket challenge. So, guys, are you guys excited about it? You guys nervous?
So we don't have a trophy for the Big Ten tournament because
no one really cares.
I pick Michigan State.
To be fair, no one really cares.
I just want a medal.
Nick Forden picked freaking Illinois, so it shows you we don't take that very seriously. First of all, just the bracket when it came out, guys. Any just kind of just initial reactions. Anything that really stood out, surprised you, and also I know one thing that everybody was kind of like, ooh. And it's the Midwest. Everybody said, "Oh no, look at how tough this is."
Yeah.
You got the Wichita State, Louisville, Michigan. Those teams are all in the Final Four. Kentucky's in there. You got Duke in there. That is a murderer's row of region.
I think the South is tough. I looked at the South. I said so much for Florida being the number 1 overall seed. They have the toughest bracket.
It's not as easy as you would think.
Yeah, I mean, Syracuse has been struggling. Kansas has been inconsistent with Embiid out. But those teams are both so talented. And Ohio State as well is also a very talented team.
Ohio State's probably the best 6 seed, ain't they?
Yeah, I would say far and away. So. And then VCU is not going to be fun to play no matter what. And even Colorado, I think. Yeah. They've got some tournament experience, and they're looking to get a score an upset. I don't think they will, but I think it's a tough road for Florida. And I as much as I think the Midwest is a tough bracket, I think it's just specifically tough for Wichita State. You look at the teams they got to go through.
Yeah.
Kentucky right in the second round.
Yeah.
Yeesh. That'll test them.
I know a lot of people said that the West don't look really that tough. I heard analysts from ESPN talk a little bit about that. And a lot of people just say Arizona's going to pretty much go right through the bracket. But it's interesting to see. Also, I think the Oklahoma, whoever makes the second round of the Oklahoma and North Dakota State game and the San Diego State and New Mexico game, the game is in Spokane, and Gonzaga is actually in that bracket, so they might have somewhat of a home court advantage.
If they can beat Arizona.
If they can beat Arizona, yeah.
And if they can beat Oklahoma State, right. I think a lot of people are putting Marcus Smart and company through. But yeah, it's Christmas.
Yeah,
March Madness.
Is there a more fun day than those Thursday, Friday, those combos of days are just games on all day, and CBS switches to the games that the upsets are close. I can't think of what are more fun days in sports. Super Bowl Sunday was just one game.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that?
NFC and AFC championship.
Championship Sunday. That's true.
Those first 2 days of March Madness, where you have games almost the entire day.
Every channel was
stacked. On your computer and every.
Yeah. We keep talking about having holidays for off work. Maybe this should be.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole vacation. This is on TV for weeks.
Yeah. So, give the first weekend. We'll take a holiday. The other days we'll just cheat on our work computers and watch it.
And I think what's going to be cool this year too, towards the end of the tournament, is they're doing TV and home select broadcasts. So it'll be nice since they're doing the new TBS-CBS deal. They're able to do team-specific broadcasts for the Final Four, which would be kind of interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be great for those fans as well. Get the home cooking.
No Brian Barnhart for us.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go through our selections here. First, I want you guys to bring up any Cinderellas or early upsets, any key ones that you have. And we'll start off here with you, Joe. First of all, Cinderellas, early upsets.
Early upset for me, I have in the East, Harvard over Cincinnati. Harvard always seems to do a good showing in the tournament, and there's always that 12-5 upset somewhere in the bracket. So I think I'm going to have to go with them for the early upset. As far as sleeper team, well, they're not ranked too badly. They're 3, I guess, even. I think Creighton is kind of a sleeper in terms of just how far they can really go.
Really?
McDermott got an average 40 though.
Yeah, well,
to go far. Yeah. I think I had Harvard winning that game too. I had that as an upset. I'm real interested to see the Wichita State. I'm quite sure they might win. Quite sure they're gonna win the first round game, and Kentucky. I really want to see that. A lot of people think Kentucky is gonna take that one. And another team too. I actually have Michigan State going real far, not because of the Big Ten bias, but because of not only what I've seen in the Michigan game, but when Michigan State is healthy, they're deadly. They have guys like Adrian Payne and Dawson, and just having those big men to go with those guards like Gary Harris. I mean, I definitely feel like they could do damage, especially now that they have a little bit more chemistry playing together.
I've got a real risky Sweet 16 team. I've got Iowa.
Wow.
In the Sweet 16. Beating Tennessee, beating Massachusetts, and beating Duke, and then getting beaten by Michigan. I think here's my rule of thumb. If a team's been bad for a while, maybe they'll stop being bad. And that's what
And that's your rule. I mean, the inverse of that obviously is that maybe they're just not very good.
yeah. Maybe they'll get bounced by Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I have the chance of losing 3 games there if I instead of just 1 or instead of just 2 because they're a playing game. First 4, first round.
That's a
not a
risky
playing
move.
game. Yeah, no.
Take some temerity.
I don't know. I think Iowa might be able to turn it around with a week off, and they can really look at themselves and say, "Hey, we've been terrible," and then maybe they figure out why.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how just bad they've been because, my first time they played Illinois here, and just a couple of weeks ago, they were kind of a sneaky favorite. People were saying they may be an outside Final Four team.
Yeah.
And you're right, that they can get things right. They certainly can make a run. I'm just not sure there is a magic switch there to kind of turn on because they looked really bad. I watched that game with them in Northwestern there, and they just did not look very good at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, March has been known for its magic, so
anything can happen.
One shining moment.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We got again, I've got the Harvard upset, too. That kind of seems to be a popular one.
I have that, too.
Yeah, now I'm kind of concerned now that everyone has it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to set a trend.
Oh, no. Yeah, there you go, trendsetter. I have Providence beating North Carolina, as a matter of fact, too. And that's in the East bracket, too.
I thought about that for a long time. I considered that one deeply.
And I may put Providence in my Sweet 16 as well. I'm kind of high. And I'm not.
I got North Carolina.
Oh, okay, well.
I went big the other way.
Yeah, I'm really not that high. Iowa State seems to be the other maybe popular one to come out of that East along Michigan State. It's funny how much really no love Virginia's getting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as you talk about it, it's called, all the talk is that Michigan State is going to walk to that Final Four, and Virginia did win the ACC and beat up Duke pretty badly. And badly, but they beat Duke in that championship game.
Held their own. They're not a fluke.
No, definitely not. So that's just not going to be an easy out for them. Which number 1 seed do you guys believe is most vulnerable? What's going to lose first? Probably Virginia or Wichita State, I'm guessing.
I think Wichita State, just because of how strong that Midwest region is. Just looking at, you have teams Louisville, Kentucky. I mean, it's Duke. It's not going to be easy getting past those teams. I mean, it might be out the second round. Who knows? But I definitely probably think. I mean, because the East region has a few teams, but it seems like the Midwest is more tougher, regardless of what round you go in.
It's funny. I was going to say Virginia is the most vulnerable, but I actually have Wichita State going out first.
Okay.
I have them going out to Kentucky, and
Do you?
I am rooting for Wichita State.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
They're the team I'm
the
pulling
team
for.
right there.
I want to see them win the national championship and then have them give it to someone else because they won 34-0 and they didn't get the number 1 seed, so maybe they'll get the same treatment in the March Madness tournament.
Yeah.
But I actually have Kentucky. I think they just have a lot of negative momentum just because no one cares that they're 34-0.
Yeah.
And I think at some point that has to start to get in your head a little bit. So if Kentucky goes on a run, which a young, talented team can do, I think they could be in a lot of trouble.
I'll say about Kentucky nervousness me really quickly because they are really young and talented, but they're also really young and talented.
Yeah.
So, I can see Kentucky making a run like such a Sweet 16 or help further, but I can see Kentucky losing to Kansas State.
Yeah.
I think I was not one of the ones to give Wichita State a whole lot of credit, and I was thinking to myself that I'm going to probably pick them to lose early, Wichita State. And right now, I think I have them in the Sweet 16. I mean, people give Kentucky a lot of credit for all the things they've done and playing well against Florida and yada, yada. Kentucky's not been great all year. I mean, they really haven't. An 8 seed is probably about what they've been. They've just been really inconsistent. So, I mean, I'm going to pick Wichita State to at least make that Sweet 16 and then probably get bounced out there somewhere.
I'd like to see them I'd like to see them win it all.
Yeah, I know you
Like
do.
I said that. I just said that.
You're a
but
Shocker fan.
yeah, I guess so.
So, which one do you think is most vulnerable?
I think Well, Wichita State, I think, is one of them too. Like you guys are saying, I don't know. For some reason, I also had Arizona not making it to the Final Four. We can go into the brackets later on for our Final Four picks, but I don't know. It keeps it exciting. I don't know. I just don't think Arizona's had a very good year, but there's always some surprises in this thing, and so I think for them, along maybe with like a Virginia or something, you could see, even though they're both very good teams, just knocked out by the nature of the tournament.
And here's the logic of March. I think the consensus is that Florida is the most vulnerable 1 seed because we haven't talked about
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Whatever everyone's saying, it works out the opposite way, or so it seems. How
do you guys feel? Obviously, I'm sure you watch the experts on ESPN, and a lot of them really have a very similar Final Four to each other. It's pretty much everybody's got Florida and Arizona, Michigan State and Louisville.
That's exactly what I have.
There you go. I mean, so I'm interested in that since you've heard everyone kind of pick that, does that deter you from picking the same Final Four, or are you encouraged by that? Because I'll tell you what, there are years where I am set on a game and then I hear one person pick on ESPN or in television anywhere, and I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys all picking Harvard scares me to say maybe I should rethink this. To be honest, I mean, obviously it encouraged you and you didn't mind it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I try to shy away from. I mean, it's on every channel as far as picks, but I try to shy away from it and actually fill out my bracket on my own without really looking at all the media, because I'm kind of the same way. If I see something that's kind of a trend, I kind of want to switch it too. But also an interesting thing too is that I think on SportsCenter they was talking about people from Vegas actually had tips on how to fill out a bracket as well. So I was thinking about using either some of those tips or even getting a random person on the street who never watched basketball to fill out the bracket.
Well, I mean that's the thing is that usually the person who knows least about basketball wins it. That's why I'm an anytime champion.
Because this is such a mental delusion.
Yeah.
You're going insane here trying to think, everyone says this, so this,
right?
Yeah. It depends. Some teams probably pay attention to that a little bit, use it as motivation. Other probably don't notice it all. So, maybe Florida doesn't care that no one's worried about them. Maybe they're just, doing their own thing, or maybe they're paying attention to it, saying, "Oh, we got this. We're in the Final Four at the very least." It's a fool's errand. It really is.
I mean, it's a lot of fun, and it's crazy because by the end of the first day or so, it's going to be like, wow, this was a terrible. By the time you watch this on Wednesday, you may say, God, Elliot picked Iowa, and they just lost last night. What an idiot!
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, do you know Nate Silver? Did you see? He had a site come out that's sponsored by ESPN. Nate Silver, the great statistician who predicted every state in the 2008 election or something.
Yeah.
Did you want to guess what his top team is? In terms of he goes each team by team, gives them a percentage to win.
Michigan State.
Louisville.
Okay.
15% chance, Louisville. Second place is Florida.
Okay.
14%. That's crazy. Louisville's a 4 seed.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan State's the number 2 odd in Vegas to win it all right now.
Yeah, and I think Michigan State was
3 or 4,
really high up there as well.
Can't go wrong with Vegas, man. Can't go wrong.
But then you have babies and options.
You usually do go wrong.
Can you not go wrong?
You lose it all.
Yeah, you usually lose. I mean, I guess we should go ahead and get to Final Four here. As far as that, you guys want to take out Torrance? You've already kind of explained your Final Four. Did you got what seems to be the favorite picks so far? The 1s and the 4s.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what I had. Florida, Arizona, Michigan State, and Louisville. It's ironic because, honestly, I'm not lying. I didn't watch how they picked it. That was the first time I heard it was the same bracket I had because I really wanted to kind of tune out from that. And I mean, it's ironic that I had that, but I mean, this seems like it's the most fitting. I think only 2 number 1 seeds is going to make the Final Four. The rest of them going to get upsetted, and I mean, it might be completely different, but. Like Joey was saying, as far as the nature of the tournament, I kind of think this is probably the best way it's going to shift.
I've got that Final Four, Torrance, only one change. I've got Arizona, Louisville, Michigan State, and Kansas. I think Kansas...
I can see that, too. I can see
Florida.
That.
I got Kansas beating Florida. I think if they can get Embiid back in the second weekend, that'll make them a much stronger team. Obviously, they'll have a whole week there to practice with him. So I don't think that necessarily getting back in the flow will be too tough for them. I really think that, big players really shine in March, and it's time for Wiggins to shine. And when he comes back, Joel Embiid as well.
I have in mind Florida, Michigan State, who's now getting healthy at the right time, Duke, and Creighton.
Wow.
Creighton going deep.
Creighton, you got to ride the McDermott train. No, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're one of those teams I can see like on TV where you're seeing McDermott running around the floor, hitting everything, and they also have Ethan Ragg, and he's a big time player for them, and so I don't know. I feel like they're one of those Cinderella teams, even though they're a number 3 seed, which isn't too bad of a ranking.
Yeah, I'm not sure Creighton qualifies as Cinderella anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the Big East now.
Yeah.
They're not even in.
Okay, well, even if they're not a
traditional
Cinderella,
mid-major.
I still see them as kind of a big threat down the stretch. We doing champions or?
Yeah, I'll give you mine here too. I'm wrestling with Arizona a lot in the region. I have Creighton probably losing, probably a little early. As a matter of fact, I've kind of contemplated them losing to Nebraska. Man, if I wish they had a stronger number 2 seed, Arizona's region. I mean, this seems like this is what Florida's region should be, doesn't it? Arizona.
Yeah.
It really does, because I don't want to pick Arizona, but I cannot find a reason to not do it other than I don't want to pick Arizona.
Yeah, I tried to switch it, but it just
because I don't believe in Wisconsin.
San Diego State's usually a tough team in the tournaments, but I don't know about this year. But
yeah, I mean,
they usually put up a good fight whoever they're with.
But I can see San Diego State going down early too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and pick Arizona. I do have Florida. I just think Florida's the best team right now. Again, I was gonna shy away from Michigan State. But it kind of logic I talked about last week is that I shied away from
Michigan.
From Michigan, and then they end up making me look like I had an egg on my face. So I'm going to stick with Michigan State like I've been doing all year.
Jamal, you always look like you have an egg on your face.
I take that as a compliment, I believe.
No.
It wasn't. In this Midwest is tough too. I do think it's going to be Louisville and Michigan in that Elite Eight, and I'm really leaning toward Michigan. And I haven't heard many people pick Michigan to the Final Four. And I think we talk about one player could get hot and kind of carry a team. Nick Stauskas can do that.
Mm-hmm. So can Russ Smith, though.
Yeah.
I think that would be a fantastic Elite Eight matchup.
It
A
would.
rematch of the title game. That
It would. Man, it would. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that is something to root for, I think. Even though I'm rooting for Wichita State.
Yeah.
I'm so conflicted.
A lot of rooting interest
region.
here. Yeah. Guys, quickly here, give us a champion. Go around the room here.
Arizona.
Florida.
Duke.
That's an interesting one. I've got Florida as well. Either way, it's going to be a fun time. We're going to fill out a full bracket here. We're going to put it online and have a challenge. Let us keep points here. We're going to crown a champion, a bracket champion. Again, I am the 2-time
I'll
reigning.
dust off my trophy case.
I am the 2-time reigning and defending bracket champion. So hopefully you guys can unthrow me, or I guess I'll be the first ever 3-time champion in this here challenge.
Who's keeping tab at it?
Yeah. Me. So you can.
Didn't you not even win last year? Didn't Darshan win?
Ellie believes that Darshan is our producer.
Darshan, show you've got a bracket filled out.
And Darshan has a bracket as
Darshan's
well.
Final Four
Show
is
him
Yeah,
the
give us
trophy.
Darshan's
okay.
Final Four.
Florida,
Okay.
Arizona, Michigan State.
That's what I think I have. Look at Florida. I've got Florida, yeah. So me and Darshan have the same. Look at Darshan's trying to copy me now that he's heard what my.
See, he gets
bracket
the
is.
Final Four the same as you, and then beats you out in the lower
In the
rounds.
lower
He knows
rounds.
you won't do your research.
Exactly. He knows me too well. It's been a fun show. Again, we'll be off next week and come back to you here in 2 weeks with our show. We want to thank again our guests at this time. You can follow us on Twitter to keep up with the bracket challenge, and we'll have a winner. I'm trying to remember. We don't have a winner by the time we get back next, but we'll have some updates there. Tell you who's in the lead. NIT again is on Wednesday at 6, probably or maybe earlier in the day if you're watching us on UTTV. Again, thank those guys for joining us, and we're going to go now back to Champagne's Alternative, WPGU 1071.